Ready?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Whiskey and Hammock. I'm Eric.
And I'm Chris. And today we have a special edition because we are in Fernandina, in Amelia Island.
Yeah.
We're out at Marlin and Barrel, and I'm sitting here with the owner, Roger, who's going to tell us a little bit about Marlin and Barrel.
Yep. Well, thanks for coming out.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
We're always happy to have people come visit. Amelia Island's a fantastic place, and we're proud to be a part of it. I think we're still number one thing to do in Fernandina Beach on TripAdvisor, which is
nice. That's huge.
Yep. We're not voting on that. That's what people say about us.
Mm-hmm.
Although I do joke. I mean, we've got air conditioning, restroom, and free alcohol, so it's a good head start.
Right.
But we've been doing this now. We actually just crossed over our 9-year anniversary. We threw a celebration, and on the precipice of that, we opened another business. So we also have the cidery that's in the adjoining business, right here under the same roof, and just downtown in Fernandina. And so we're walkable to all the things here and beyond. So
That's awesome. So how did you start this? How did you decide, like, oh, you know what, I'm going to open up a distillery?
it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
I do joke, like, there's a fine line between smart and crazy, like when we're walking that razor's edge on that type deal. But it was about 10 years ago. My wife and I, we were both working for an airline, and I'd spent 20 years in market planning. We're reasonably successful people. Why wouldn't we be successful with something else? And so we started looking at other ideas. And in the corporate world, you really fight for money, power, and title individually, and then come together as a group to make a bigger business run faster. It's about specialization. But if we're not going to do that, then everything else is kind of a craft lifestyle. It's about creating something you can feel proud of, whether that's a piece of art or, in this case, as it turned out to be, bourbon and the rest of our products. Mm-hmm. And so I came up with the idea when we were first looking. There were only a couple hundred distilleries in the U.S. and the craft wave had started. There's large vodka brands, there's large bourbon brands that have kind of been on the first wave of it. But there's only a few hundred as compared to, I think at the time there were maybe 5,500 breweries. So we're 25 years into that scene.
Right.
And now America leads, in my opinion, the brewing world in terms of innovation and creativity.
Well, I think that's kind of where I think we feel that's where bourbon's going. In the way of the brewery, the craft breweries.
I totally think so.
Yeah.
I think craft spirits, small fries like us are going to find something that isn't born of efficiency alone. It's born from some other place, and maybe in beer. I saw Fruity Pebbles beer. Okay. Maybe we've jumped the shark a little bit in some cases.
Right.
If you like it, I'm all for drinking, so I'm not here. And distilleries will do the same thing someday. But I'll take you through our portfolio. But it's the innovation behind it is something we're all proud of. So hopefully we join that crowd or have joined that crowd, and people start to really know us and see us that way. And so anyways, I told my wife, I was like, well, what about this idea? What about spirits? And I didn't know anything about how to, we weren't entrepreneurs. I didn't know how to, I'm not a moonshiner, but I knew how to drink,
Right.
And that was about my only qualification at the time. Here's the process. You buy a little home kit. It's kind of crappy. Then you get a nice kit, put it in your garage. Your friends like your beer. Then you may intern at a brewery. Then you go to a place. Then you build one, right? But all along, there's 5 years of what not to do and what you like to do. Right. But, it's tough. You really have to stand shoulder to shoulder with people who've done good work before you.
Yeah.
So then you're actually distilling all your own product. So and it's interesting because it seems like it's a very intricate process, right? There's a lot. It seems like a big learning curve, right?
There is,
trial and error.
So what I say is you have to know the science to do the art.
Okay, right.
So the way distillers from the beginning of time have learned what they like and don't like is so all alcohol's created through fermenting, right? And then it's a question of, okay, well, you with wine, with beer, you drink what's fermented, but with distillation, you're extracting the alcohol out. So you're dropping off non-alcohol, and therefore you're getting higher proof in spirits. But there's nobody does it in a vacuum, right? We don't do vacuum control because it's not efficient. So you have to do it with heat, and then some sort of control for that heat. And in between, you're trying to separate the different chemicals that are coming from the vapor path. Right. But since it's this flowing process, you get bleed, right? So the chemical at 170 degrees is a different weight than the 165. But if you're just pushing vapor, you'll get a little bit of bleed. And so what distillers have done since the beginning of time is they will lay out a jar, and then 15 minutes later another jar and another jar, and they'll do that for our final still is about an 8-hour run.
Okay.
They'll just do that for 8 hours, and in the beginning of the run, you get lighter, fruitier notes. In the end, you get this sort of heavier, creamier, but almost like wet cardboard.
Okay.
And so, but in the beginning, you also get sharpness. Right, that's sort of like.
Well, isn't it the head, the heart, and the tail?
That's right. And so, first of all, you did a run. What do you want to keep? What do you want to throw away?
Right.
And then, can you repeat it?
Right.
Okay.
I would imagine that'd be the hardest part.
Right.
Yeah.
And so the science about vapor control and fermentation and all that, right? That you have to know those things. But there's still always a distiller's decision about what to keep and what to discard. Yeah, but mostly, when you first do it and you figure out where you like your alcohol ranges, that is to me the art. In the base alcohol. Now we make everything except tequila. So we've got 4 cellos, several vodkas, rums, bourbon, whiskey, and then gins. I'll tell you an interesting fact. So we have in here, we have done 5, 10, 15, 25, 30, 53, and 60-gallon barreled bourbon projects.
Yeah.
Okay? And part of it is we don't have a lot of bourbon in Florida. I mean, we don't have a history of it.
Right.
I know there are other bourbon producers,
of course.
but most of us are brand new relative to Kentucky and some other places.
Right.
Of course.
So what's the right barrel size? What's the right char type? In our environment?
Right. And that's like, especially for Florida, because you have the high heat, the high humidity.
Yes.
We just had Kentucky and Tennessee, they don't have that high heat for that a long period of time.
Correct.
So so did you figure it out? Do you have the answer to that?
Well, you're drinking it. I'd like to.
So I was just going to mention, it's is this Shoreline?
Yep. So this is our. We do 2 bourbons. We do our standard pour is at 86 proof, and then once a year we pull a cask strength.
Okay.
We kind of sample a few different barrels and we pull a cask strength out, and then we'll allocate that throughout the year, because if it runs out, then people will just I don't know what we'll get, 280 bottles or give or take some, and then we'll set some out in January. We do it really for our general manager's birthdays in January, so we started it based on that. And some will come in January and February, and we just kind of put a few bottles out. So this one's at 120.2 proof, and it's been as high as the low 130s.
It doesn't drink like a 120 though.
Thanks.
It's really, really good. I really enjoy it.
I appreciate that. Yeah. I think, and distillers will tell you this, a good barrel in the right spot can make a good spirit wonderful, but it can't make a bad spirit good.
Oh,
so
true,
you do have to still make like a solid base, and then let the magic of the barrel take over. And you can see the larger barrels that have the silver rings. They have the extra ring.
Those are huge.
That's 60 gallons.
Okay.
And the staves are thicker as well.
Okay.
And that's important because you've seen a barrel stave, right? And if you turn it on its side, you can see the soak line, right? Which is where it commonly went to and then came back out of.
Exactly.
So there's more room for flavor to be extracted from.
Right.
And since we're in a hot environment, on average versus places that have cooler environments, we'll get a deeper soak line.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
So the extra half-inch or inch on the stave, it adds up.
Okay. All right.
So
do you have a favorite barrel size yet, or are you still experimenting?
It may be controversial to say. I think the 30-gallon barrels have been delicious.
Yeah.
I really do. We've had more honey holes in 30s.
In 30s?
That's really what I should say.
Gotcha.
That's really how I should say it.
Okay. Yeah, that
That's
makes
interesting.
sense.
It's interesting though. Yeah.
So we're talking about this project, and he's like, well, I've got both honey and he's got pecan trees. He presses the oil, so we get fresh pressed pecan oil, and we local honey,
right?
And then we put that together with a whiskey, and I kind of call it the gateway drug to bourbon.
Right, I can see that. Yeah,
the whiskey's there, right?
Yeah.
The barrel and all that, but this honey's, it's not. I mean, when you taste our products, where we have to apply sugar, we do, but we're not a dollop of sugar in the glass, because you can put sugar in cocktails.
Right.
We don't need to, and the whiskey's the same way. But then the freshness of the pecan just comes over because it's everything we do. We've got 20 some odd products. Everything that we do that has a flavor comes from either the barrel or an actual food stock.
Right.
Okay.
So there's we're
It's
not
not like
it's
simple
not,
syrups
or
and
not
all
when
that
you go see our blueberry vodka, it's blue.
That's cool.
And you go to some stores and see blueberry vodka, it's clear. Well, okay, blueberries aren't clear.
Right.
So,
right.
So maybe it's because we're only at the scale we're at that we can do that. But we talked earlier about what makes a difference between craft and small guys and large guys. Well, those are the kinds of things.
right.
So when people find us and taste the difference, it resonates. So.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing that you find out, even if you're doing cocktails, right? If you make a cocktail and you use fresh ingredients to all the...
It's totally different.
It is.
You
It's night and day.
squeeze that juice. I mean, it's...
Yes. Yep. So I can imagine doing the same thing for your product for, like you said, the whiskey and the vodkas. Using fresh product, it's got to be that much better.
It's good.
So how did we come up with... How did you come up with Marlin and Barrel, the name itself?
Yeah, so, when we were deciding to do this, it's a life-size decision.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
This isn't just a small investor and we own it all, it's just us. So, basically, we decided where we're going to do it. So we're going to Amelia Island, Florida. It's a barrier island, beautiful, right? Mm-hmm. And for us, it was sort of a human discovery, lifestyle change.
Right.
Kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah.
And so Marlin, just a big Hemingway fan. So Marlin, the animals always take a prominent role in his novels, and so Marlin represents some of that sport fish, and the barrels impart quality to our product. And then if you look at all of our sub brands, it's venture, bearing, things that have a sort of node star idea behind it.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's perfect. Just like Whiskey and a Hammock. So we are the first whiskey-centric adventure company. So we do whiskey ventures. Yeah. We go out, they're coming all the way out here, to hang out at Marlin and Barrel. So, love that idea. Where can they find you? Where are you at?
So physically, we're right here in the downtown Fernandina Beach area, which is great. You're walkable to restaurants and shops and such. And the actual address is 232 South 8th Street, and 8th Street is the main street into the downtown area, and so it's just a block off here.
Yeah, so you got a great location.
And a very large brewery is being built in the back area, and I'm super excited because I don't think, and somebody can please write us and let us know if I'm making a misclaim here, but I don't think anywhere in the entire state of Florida there's a brewery, a cidery, and a distillery all in one location.
All right. Yeah, that's
it.
Yeah, that's it. So we'll have to find out, because like you said, that's something to be pretty awesome to say that you are the first brewery, cidery,
the trifecta.
and distillery. Yeah.
That's it.
No
I like
kidding.
it.
So
that's amazing.
We're pumped about that.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Well, as I said, we appreciate your time.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for coming
Yeah.
out.
Oh, it was
So
awesome.
you can find Marlin and Barrel on Facebook and Instagram.
Yep.
Marlin and Barrel.
Yep. Right at Marlin Barrel.
And then you can find Whiskey and a Hammock on all the social medias, Facebook, Twitter, or Facebook X.
Yep.
TikTok, Instagram,
YouTube,
whiskeyandthehammock.com, and also on YouTube. And same thing with the merches. You can find that on whiskeyandthehammock.com/store. And make sure you subscribe.
Yeah.
Right.
Subscribe.
Punch,
comment.
like, all that
of course.
stuff.
Yeah.
Whatever the kids say. But Roger, it was a pleasure, man. Thank you so much for having us out. This is a beautiful place.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
And your product is really good.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I say that with a surprising face. I'm not surprised, but you know what I mean. It was really good. I really enjoyed it.
Thanks.
Right. Are you guys in stores locally too?
Yeah, we're in Total Wine for sure. All our stores
Okay.
Total Wine and more, and more bars, restaurants.
Okay. I forgot to ask that earlier. So.
Yeah. Support local.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
All right, so we'll leave you with the motto, may the wind always throw your hammock, may your glass never go dry.
Cheers, yo.
Cheers.
Cheers.
That was awesome. Well done. You're a veteran at this game.
We tell the story.